Sometimes I'll get 6, 7, 7.
It's all right there.
Yeah, do that.
It's all working now, so
Don't mess it, right?
yeah, I'll be pushing it more. It's all right there. I don't know how often they super relog in. Looks like at least once a year.
Don't mess it, right?
I'll be pushing it. I don't know how often they super relog in. Looks like at least once a year. I didn't really want to find you a whole lot. Just for some reason they said they wanted to take 2 cars. They were taking 1 car. I work right out there. I didn't go home first.
Seats there, guys. Some of you drop in. Better turn that over there. Seats there, guys. See where it's here. Well, there's city lots across the street.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Better turn that over there. Seats there, guys. See where it's here. Well, there's city lots across the street.
oh, that's
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, you said you're mine is
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
No, you started off.
Hello, everyone. Just give you a heads up here, we are recording. Actually, it's live. Okay? So, on YouTube, we do this for those also all the way through training. Give you a heads up here, we are recording. You can't make it to it live, if you decide to go through this program, we will have the option to go back out. Those also all the way through training. Give you a heads up here, we actually have a that can't make it to it live, if you decide to go through this.
We started doing this last year and it worked out
Really
really
well.
well.
My name's Rod, I'm the league coordinator here. This is Tim, he's the president of the
We
league.
started doing this last year.
David, he's the one making sure everything feeds out to the internet. My name's Rod, I'm the league coordinator here. Everybody familiar with the OCAC? Played here before, did something? David, he's one. How many of you played ball? My name's Rod, I'm the league coordinator here. They forget everything you do, it's absolutely useless for played here before, did something? David, he's one. How many of you played ball?
whole new world when you're behind the plate.
We're not gonna try and keep it too long, we're gonna go over how it operates, the way everything works, what you're gonna need. There is a slight investment naturally with everything. We'll give you all the details here. Too long, we're gonna go over how it operates.
So today just basically kind of get you familiar with what, as respective if you decide to keep umpire, you decide what umpire. Like I said, just an orientation, information. Today just basically kind of get back to the training classes. As respective we don't charge anything for training classes. We volunteer our time to teach you guys how to do the basics and get through. So it's really up to you if you want to charge anything for training classes. We'll go ahead and get started with some information here, and if you have any questions, we'll stop and get those answered, all right? So it's really up to you if you want to charge anything for training classes. We'll go ahead and get started with some information here. So, we are a nonprofit organization of volunteers. We were established in 1960, which means that this year is our 60th anniversary. So, I've been here for, my daughter played when we were established 40th anniversary. I've been on the board, and Roger's been on the board for the 50th anniversary, and I've been here to give you an idea of our background and then the 40th anniversary. How much we dedicate and probably for the since that time, we've tried to provide a quality baseball and softball program for the youth of O'Fallon and surrounding communities. Those who played in the league, hopefully had a good experience. And since that time, we've tried to provide a quality baseball and softball program for the youth of O'Fallon and surrounding communities. We try to stress fairness, instruction, competition, sportsmanship, and fun. Since that time, we've tried to provide a quality who we are. You might have any questions on how we operate or anything. Instruction, competition, sportsmanship, and fun. Since that time, we've tried to provide a quality who we are. You might have any questions on how we operate or anything. So, if you decide to umpire for us, basically we only play games Monday through Friday night, no weekend games. So it's typically games start at 6 p.m. If you decide to umpire for us, basically we only play games Monday through Friday night. The older kids, no weekend games. Typically an hour and 45 or 2 hours after the first game. We always try to get 2 games on the field a night, so if you're open, hopefully you're on the field at 2 games, after the 2 games. We do offer a reimbursement program for new umpires, and we'll show you how that works a little bit later in the slide presentation. Believe it or not, this is a lifelong skill. There are people that started, and we'll show you how that works around for a long time. We've seen kids that started on a 5-year program, come out, start umpiring, and now they're off to college, and they come back from college during the summer, come back to umpire, and earn some money over the summer. So they go back to school, so they want to start umpiring. And now they're off to college for the training free, we don't charge anything for that. And, so a good competitive way, so they go back to school, so they want to start umpiring. And now they're off to college for the training free, we don't charge anything for that.
Alright, these are real basic, simple expectations. Make sure you consider these. You're going to decide to keep coming back here to get into this. You need to be reliable. These are real basic, be on time. Expectations. Properly dressed. We're going to go over the dress uniform code. We're going to show you what equipment you'll need. I don't know what age group that you're umpiring. Properly dressed. We're going to know the rules. Dress. Pretty simple. Based on how well you do, if you decide to stay with umpiring and get into it, it's all going to be on you. And know the rules. You can only be as good as you put effort into it. Based on how well you do, if you decide to stay with umpiring, you'll see a wide variety out here of different places. Being umpire can only be as good. Some that are hustling, and you're going to see some that don't. Some that know the rules and sign it right. That's all on you. So it is an umpire. You're a team on the field with your partner, and you're still responsible for yourself.
For those of you that play, I'm sure you come across an umpire that's okay, an umpire that knows their stuff, and that's the difference. To know the game that they're out there on that play, I'm sure you come across an umpire that's okay.
Are late, you're not properly dressed, or anything else, you've already got a strike against you from the coach. Or late out looking sloppy. You're not properly dressed on your shirt, or anything else, you've already got a strike stains on your shirt, shirt's all wrinkled up. Immediately the coaches are already already questioning your ability before you even started the ball. Next one. There we go. So light blue is our standard color umpire jersey. We'll show you some locations where you can get one. We do not supply any of this. Let's explain to you. Years ago, many years ago, we used to do that. We used to supply equipment. But what we discovered is if you don't have a little bit of your own investment in it, then you put no effort into it, and then you would actually just come out, do a few games, I'm done, and walk off.
So a lot of times we didn't get the equipment back, and it's a huge.
Now this is for coach pitch and machine pitch umpires. So like the jersey, this is the standard. So this is one you'll be required to have. What you'll notice out on the ball field is the experienced umpires that's been around. We don't require them all to wear powder blue, but they're all required to have one. So if they end up working with you, they will have one. As you go down the road, if you stay with it, you can wear red, black, cream,
Why umpires have to match on the field, though. That's why we require all the senior umpires to have powder blue so they can help with you all, and everybody looks the same.
This is just a start out color, and then if you stay in, you can do whatever you want to with it. This is a heather gray, charcoal gray, what do they call it?
Yeah, heather gray, dark
Used to be
gray.
a heather gray, dark gray pant. Umpire hat, they have 4 seams, 6 seams. Really depends on what you're going to be doing. If you're going to be behind the plate, you're going to need a shorter seam bill so you can get the mask on it over it. This is all for coach pitch. So this is all you're actually required for coach pitch and machine pitch. What I want you to have, they make a kit, has a bag, brush, and I call it a clicker.
Indicator.
Its technical term is indicator. But I've been calling it a clicker for
A couple of
20 years now. Yeah. Black belt and black shoes. We don't care if you have some white in the shoes.
No, I don't know.
That's fine. Don't come out with bright green stripes on your shoes. Things of that.
And like on the pants, you can pick up like a heather gray at like Walmart or Target or something, but they don't have to be specifically umpire pants for this first year.
If you come back to the next one and you actually bring back the umpire registration form and you decide to move forward, then we've got sheets from BSN Sports and some other places so you can get an idea on the pricing there. I did not, when I was the younger ones, don't go out and buy $65 umpire pants for coach. You know, it's just not necessary. Excellent. And then for the player pitch, this is where you're going to add on. You're going to have need everything else, but you're going to need shin guards, chest protector, face mask. Okay? If you choose to. How many is thinking about doing player pitch? Right. Make sure your pants that you buy, that these can go underneath. We do not wear our gear outside of our
Same way for your shirts. Make sure your shirt's going to be big enough to go over your chest protector. And a lot of these, you can buy these in a starter kit from places. It's fairly reasonable. For doing the younger age, it's probably okay, but if definitely if you're doing 16 or 18 you're not going to want a starter kit. You're going to want something that's a little more easy to kind of protect yourself. So,
we have a 4-year difference. That's what we're talking about. We have a 4-year difference. So if you're 14 years old, the oldest we're going to let you umpire is 10. Okay? And even then, most of the time we start you only at 9 years if you're doing player pitch.
just so you can get some practice before we like to try to set you guys up to succeed. So I know in the past we've had people, well, why can't I do older age? Why can I'm only doing 90, why can't I do 11 years? It's because we want you to get used to it first. We don't want to throw you out there and fail. So we want you to get used to the game, used to the coaches, and then let you move up. So there is a reason why we do that.
There you go. Here's some of the places. If you want to take a snapshot, you can. If not, we'll have more information at the next meeting. So,
Basically, any place online you Google umpire equipment, umpire shirts, you're going to come up with a whole list of of companies that do that. Johnny Max, I guess everybody knows, is no longer in business. They went to DNS Sports, so we still deal with them. They're still around. Umpire is usually another good one. You can get on their email list and get a 10% coupon. I haven't dealt with too many of the other ones, other than Umpire and there'd be DNS Sports, but we don't have them up there right now.
Okay.
If there's any questions on uniforms or anything up to this point, any questions or comments or anything yet? No? All right.
All right. And there any questions?
I'll take this one. Yeah. So basically the way it works is umpires are considered contractors, they're not employees, so we don't pay taxes out of your paycheck. So if you 10 games and make X amount of dollars, that's what you get paid. We don't hold any taxes out. But at the end of the year, if you make over $600, we send out what's called a 1099, and on that you have to pay taxes and file taxes. At this age, it's very rarely that any of you guys ever make over that in a season. I mean, unless you're doing, 2 games a night, 5 nights a week, then you can. But so you just have to remember that we don't take any taxes out. We do automatic deposits. So for those of anybody that have a bank account, you'll have to open up at least a savings account for us to deposit your paychecks in. We do that every 2 weeks. With the first pay is going to be April 24th. So we're looking at a season start of April 13th. So the way that'll work is that first week, on the 24th, if you work that first week, you're going to get paid for that 1 week. And then after that, you get 2 weeks pay every other week, automatically into your account. If you decide to continue on next week, we'll hand out some, I know this right here is a little blurry. We'll hand out paperwork that you need to complete and turn back into us by the end of March so that we have all of your information properly filed with the government for, I think it was I-9 or...
for our records.
For our records, the direct deposit information, your bank account and everything for the treasurer, that way she can get it into the system and make sure that whenever we start playing ball, you actually are able to get paid.
Already been asked a few times, okay, you do not need a work permit to umpire, okay? Yeah, so just in case it's brought up or if you have questions about that, it is not required.
State of Missouri is one of the few states that allow you to still umpire without being required to do the level of working for another corporation. Since we're non-profit, they're umpires. So, you want to take a pick?
Yeah, so basically 1 hour game, talking 10 per game. 8 machine pitch is running an hour and a half, it's going to be 15 a game. First year player pitch, we put $20. Okay, it's going to depend on your age, what age level we can start you at. So
Prior experience,
everything else. Is there anybody that has umpired here before? That's umpiring? No? So yeah, it just really depends. If you're 14 doing 9-year-olds, and we've got a 30-year-old that's doing 12-year-olds, naturally there's going to be different start pay. Right? Any questions on that?
Any questions on how that works? All right, reimbursement. This is what we talked about. I mentioned that earlier. So we know that getting started in umpiring is an investment. Some it's, if you're doing peewees, it's not as much as somebody doing players, but that's pay for the equipment, play gear. So what we do is, if you save your receipts, turn it into the end of the fall season. So basically, I know you can't read, it's fuzzy here. So if you do 25 games that year, we'll reimburse you 25% of what you put out. 50 games, 50%, and if you do 100 or more games, then we'll reimburse you your whole amount that you paid out for your equipment. Now, with that said, the equipment is basic equipment. 1 shirt, 1 pair of pants, a belt, pair of shoes, and your plate gear or ball bag. We're not going to cover multiple shirts, multiple pairs of pants, a pair of $175 steel-toed plate shoes, and a pair of $75 field shoes, and so it's just basic equipment. So just keep that in mind when you're buying your equipment. The more games you do, not only are you going to get paid to do those games, but we'll also reimburse you for your first year of your expense for using them, depending on how many games you do. Any questions on how this might work or anything? No? Okay. Go ahead.
New umpire training. A lot of classroom work, okay? It's always going to be about a 1 hour. What we discovered is most of you, especially the younger ones, it's hard to keep your attention span any longer than an hour if we can do it that long. So we usually keep it about an hour. May do indoor play training, see how we go. Usually we try to get some live in. And one outdoor to give you real game experience. So basically you will get to walk out on a field, practice games, typically at West Off Park.
Yep.
And you'll get to do live experience, and then we allow the coaches to yell at you and basically put you through the ringer just like you will on a regular ball game. That way, before you get out and do your first game, you've at least got your feet wet and have an idea of what it's going to be like. The class work is probably the most grinding, but it's necessary.
But that'll be held here on Saturday mornings, just so everybody knows. So typically first class is what, 9 and then 10:30. We have to run 2 classes, so we're still trying to work the schedule out on that. Typically,
We will bring all in at 9.
yeah, at 9. So typically our classrooms have, in the past, have been every Saturday from starting next week until season starts. So we do typically about 7 or 8 classes of 1 hour classes. We're going to try to cut that down a little bit this year, and not see if we can get that a little bit shorter time.
Try to condense it down.
Try to condense it down. So, but it will still be every Saturday morning up here. So if you can't make it, like Rod was saying earlier, we do record these, so you know you can go back and watch it. We just don't want somebody to just not come and just depend on the video for the next 6 classes. You have to come to a few. Okay.
So it is a commitment. Keep that in mind. Here to help you succeed, preparation and knowledge is the key to your success on the field. Failure to do so will result in issues and problems that will make umpiring miserable for you. 75% of umpires do not umpire again the next year due to poor preparation and knowledge. That's a true fact. So let's say we have 30 of you come in, we'll be lucky to have 5 come back. Okay? Some of you will start the season and you won't even finish the season. Not to scare you off, just let you know it's the way it is nowadays. Parents aren't friendly, coaches aren't nice, it's not an easy process. I'd rather be upfront with you about it. Not that we want you here. Umpires are very hard to get, so if you want to work and you want to make money, it's there. The needs everywhere. Nationwide and statewide, there's an umpire shortage, period. Even at the high school level.
Saw a report the other day that they said that a decade ago there's 1,000 plus shortage of officials now than there was 10 years ago. So it's rough out there. I mean, like Rod said, we don't want to scare you off, but we don't want to sugarcoat it either.
That's why we really go over in the classroom, we go over the details. Because details is where it's at. If you do all the details, you do everything the way we tell you to do it, it's going to protect you a lot easier on the field. It doesn't give coaches excuses to look for things on you or have a short fuse. So,
You look the part, sell it.
look the part. You'll learn the old saying, when in doubt, call them out.
That too.
Unfortunately, we don't typically get through a year without at least a few. Most of the umpires here are pretty good about not. I mean, if it gets to the point, we might have a few getting a little older, getting a little more short-tempered, I can relate, but But otherwise, that's what we're looking at. This is a website. Everybody hopefully has this. If not, take a screenshot. That's the email, that's our phone number. So part of the thing we'll do is we're going to answer some questions from y'all, and then I'm going to hand out registration forms. Tell you when we're coming back, okay? Next Saturday, right? Yep. And then this is important because naturally this time of the year in Missouri, you wake up and you don't know what the weather's going to be. So on the front page of our website, if any time, even if you've been training here for 3 weeks, any time there's any kind of weather, check that website before you head out. Make sure it isn't canceled, because we don't want, some of you will be driving, new drivers, 16, it's scary even in nice weather, so we don't want you out running around in bad weather. So that's important info there. You always can get a hold of us one way or another through here. And then down the road, for the end of training, you'll end up getting our cell phone number, and that way you'll have constant access to somebody on the board from the field at all times.
So you get into a situation on the field you can't resolve, you can text Rod, myself, or the treasurer Tina, and we'll get over to the field or help you get through the situation you're in. One thing we didn't talk about was the flexible schedule. So the way that works is the way the system's set up is you can go in and create your account, and then from there, Rob will publish the schedule and tie you to what level you're able to umpire. So you can go in and pick your games in your schedule based upon your personal schedule. So you go in and block out your time, and then you pick how many days a week you want to work, or what days you want to work. So typically Rod doesn't do scheduling too much anymore. He just releases it, and it's up to you guys to pick up the games and how many you want to work. We find that works better because you know your schedule outside of here, and so if we start scheduling you for Tuesdays and Thursdays, and all of a sudden you're not available Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're calling off, we're trying to reschedule people. So if we let you guys handle your own schedule, it seems to work out better. So it's kind of up to you there to pick what you want to work and how often you want to work. But
yeah, we do backfill. So we'll kind of teach you all that if you decide to come back and start the training. We'll show you how everything works. And so we do backfill. So if somebody calls off, you always want to have your availability updated so we know that you're available to cover if somebody calls off. Not that people would call up sick or not want to work or anything. The new software system seems to make things run a lot better than they used to. So. Anybody got any questions or anything? No? We'll get done fast.
yeah.
Nobody ever has questions. Then when we get done, there's usually like 7 or 10 people standing around waiting to ask us a question. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hand out, if whoever's truly umpiring, come up and get a form. There you go. And then sit back down and we're going to tell you when to come back. Get a bigger building, can I hope it is. I hope we got enough. How many's here that actually is here for St. Paul? Everybody here for St. Paul? Okay. Kind of like, we had a couple emails from somebody from St. Paul. We do also have games out in St. Paul, just so you know. And they do pay a travel fee. So if we're going to do that too, we do both. Yeah. It all comes through the same scheduling, so it's all handled through us. We just basically we supply the umpires for St. Paul.
Right.
But they do try to send people from that location, it makes it easier on
Right.
All right, so 9 a.m., we're gonna bring everybody back. Parents, if you can, come back next Saturday. Bring them all.
Yeah, we try to keep it about an hour long every
We're
class.
gonna bring all of you in at one time next week on Saturday at 9. Okay? Then after that, when we split off, because next week, be debating over the course of this week, whether you want to just do machine pitch and coach pitch, or if you want to do player pitch. But then next week, that's when we'll make the split, and then we'll split you off into 2 different classes. There's 2 totally different trainings.
You, slow pitch, did? Like softball?
No, you would want to contact, if you want to do slow pitch, you want to contact City will Fallon,
Right.
and they can put you in charge.
Okay,
Cut
yeah.
with,
Yeah.
I think that's some sort of triple SA.
Right, I was just wondering.
Now, you also have the option if you want to do both coach pitch, player pitch, and machine, or coach pitch and player pitch, you can do both. You don't have to decide one or the
Oh,
other.
you can do both?
You can do both, so, but you'll have to stay for both classes.
Right.
Some of the stuff will be different, but you can do both.
Make for a longer morning on Saturday.
And some people do that just because it enables them to pick up more games.
Yeah.
A little more variety, so just keep that in mind too.
Bring that form back with you filled out. If we need a parent signature, make sure there's a parent signature on it.
Yeah, just basic contact information so we know how to get hold of you. All right. Anything else?
No, I think so. Got done quick.
Wow.
Next Saturday, we're gonna bring everybody back in, get everybody split up, go over more stuff, hand out more paperwork. And that paperwork is too, because then now when you come back, we know that you really, because if we handed out all the paperwork that we need to hand out now, and then half of you decide not to umpire, but then,
So yeah, just make sure you bring this back with you next week if you decide you want to ump. And then like Rod said, we'll have the rest of the schedule laid out for the rest of the season, our rest of training, and we good to go. Yeah, we don't have anything else unless you guys have more questions for us or anything.
So, during the summer, I know sometimes the games are always in the evening. Do you have afternoon or early games? I'm trying to remember what you played. Sometimes we had early games.
Now, 6 o'clock is typically, there was one time when we started at 5:30 or something for a couple of games, but normally it's always 6 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, because I know she played with some games that were, like, we had one game.
yeah, we're sure that was on a weekend.
That wouldn't have been too much.
Yeah, I guess probably it was a Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't play
The city does run a Kiwi League, weekend league. CYC has some weekend games over on our deal, but.
That was
Chesterfield,
definitely,
yeah, Chesterfield plays their rec teams on weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
All right, no questions?
I'm still on zero rules the Umpire softball game.
All that does is let me know how it's tagged in the system, if you want to or not to. We usually try to throw in one extra possible meeting, so there's a few different rules for softball and baseball.
And again, we go to
But
softball.
anybody who's interested, it would be awesome. Softball umpires are harder to come across. So,
If you're doing both, that gives you more opportunities to pick up more games, more flexibility, so.
yep. All right, well, hopefully we see you all next week.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.